Hi, it's Dwyer, a sun-drenched Dwyer, here to talk about a fascinating fight, the WBC Featherweight Championship that's taking place this weekend in Japan, featuring WBC Featherweight Champion Hozumi Hasegawa, and he is fighting Mexican Jhonny Gonzalez. Now, just remember, this fight is high risk. The opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, I know it's absurd to, talk about beating Hasegawa in Japan, unless, of course, you're talking about Fernando Montiel, who did just that. But let me say this. I'm actually picking Jhonny Gonzalez in this fight. I actually feel that styles make fights. I also feel that Hasegawa has slowed down considerably as he has gained weight. I understand he's a WBC featherweight champion, but understand, he's only fought one other fight at featherweight. His glory days are at bantamweight. And while I know that he's a southpaw, and while I know that Jhonny Gonzalez has had problems with southpaws in the past. He got dropped years ago by Jerry Pendalusa right on a counter left hook. Then, of course, he was dominating a fight against WBC Super Bantamweight champion Toshiaki Nishioka. And, of course, he got dropped in the third round of that fight on a left hand. Let me just say, though, that Hasegawa, in my opinion, doesn't move around the ring as well as Jhonny Gonzalez. And I think he's going to have a very hard time, and this is just based on styles. I think he's going to have a very hard time dealing with Gonzalez's length. Gonzalez knows how to hide himself behind a very long jab. And Gonzalez has power. Just because he's a boxer doesn't negate the fact that he's also a puncher. In fact, he hasn't had to go 10 rounds since 2007. You're talking about a very heavy-handed guy. In fact, he's the heavier-handed guy in the fight. Take a look at Hasegawa's KO ratio. You're going to see it's below 40%. And keep in mind, his KOs were at lighter weight classes. His KOs were at bantamweight. Here, he's fighting a taller guy who hits harder and who fights from longer distance. I just get the feeling he's going to have a very hard time getting inside of Jhonny Gonzalez's jab. And let me point out, too, Gonzalez likes to have guys come forward to try to hunt him down because his entire game is based on having you run into his jab. Also, Hasegawa, when he was younger, he was like Ray Leonard. If you want to see an excellent Ray Leonard type upper body display, take a look at his last fight against Juan Carlos Burgos. That video is on YouTube. In particular, take a look at the 10th, 11th, and 12th rounds. In fact, also take a look at the 7th round in that fight. You're going to be amazed at how elusive Hasegawa is with his upper body. Here's the problem. That fight style works against immobile opponents who loop their punches. I don't believe that that's Jhonny Gonzalez. Gonzalez is more of a length guy who's going to be outside, who's going to be throwing a straight jab, then he's going to be hooking off of that straight jab, and then coming over the top with a straight right hand. So I feel that Hasegawa has slowed down a bit. He's not as quick as he was at bantamweight. He got hit flush several times in that Burgos fight. I think he's going to get hit flush in this fight. I think Gonzalez is going to be able to control the action with his superior foot speed, with his superior movement, and with his length. So this is high risk. I haven't seen the odds on this fight. I'm assuming that Hasegawa, the champion, fighting in his home country, is probably going to be favored in this fight. I'm just saying that I like his opponent, Jhonny Gonzalez, and don't sleep on Gonzalez. This is a name you need to know Gonzalez has fought and has beaten some pretty big competition, including Fernando Montiel. So Gonzalez is the real deal. He's the younger man in the fight. I actually think he's the fresher man in the fight. Montiel knocked out Hasegawa, right? Hasegawa has been getting hit a lot lately. I just get the feeling that Gonzalez is the fresher fighter. Let me also point out, too, that Gonzalez really has had some bad luck in fights. The fight where he lost to Nishioka, he literally had won every minute of that fight before the knockout, and it was a one-punch knockout. The fight he lost to Penaloosa, same type thing. He was well on his way to winning that fight, and then he got hit with a liver punch that just paralyzed him for about 12 seconds. Unfortunately, the ref only has to count to 10 in boxing. I think this guy is better than his record. I think he's a guy who, quite frankly, can make a lot of noise at featherweight. I think he picks up the WBC featherweight title this weekend in his opponent's backyard. It's a bold pick. Understand the risk involved. You need to be a high risk type to think about betting on this fight. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com and visit our other site too, predictboxing.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.